Hey there everyone, welcome back to Game Finding. My name is Dave, and welcome back to another Dexterity Week video, where we are reviewing Dexterity/action games. Today on the docket is Dungeon Fighter. Let's do it. So Dungeon Fighter here, I got the very first print, and that was made by Cranio Creations. It's hard to say. Yellow now has it, and there are a ton of expansions, but today we're talking about the base game. What you do in Dungeon Fighter? Well, you're rolling dice to kill enemies on a dungeon crawl, but not in the regular sense of rolling dice. You're going to be throwing them under your legs, letting them drop off your face, having your friend help you out, and flicking them off your thumb. But you're going to have to bounce off the table before you hit an enemy. What I mean by that? Well, let me show you what comes in the box first, and then I'll explain a little more. Let's go. Okay, so this is what you get in the box, and it's quite a bit. Now again, this is the first edition. I don't know how the rest of them look, but the gold has got this like pearlescent kind of texture to it and or view, and then you have the dice in mostly white and in a few different colors. Then you have the minions in different difficulties. Now, like I said in the beginning, the art isn't my favorite. There are a few things that I think look cool, but for the most part, I think it's a little bit too kooky for my taste, though I didn't come here for the art, I came here for the dexterity. The cardboard components and the puzzle board are really nice, and then you have the character board with all the different characters that are double-sided when they die, and more cardboard components. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, the tower. How could I forget the tower? Had to make that, but it stays made in the box relatively well. Alright, so now let me show you how to play this game. Alright, so this is the board set up. Now, I've set everything up. You got the dungeon, which is 15 rooms and a boss that's chose randomly. You got your character on his 9 lives, and you got your dice and your 15 enemies that you'll be fighting, either on easy, medium, hard. Then you have the Emporium, which is the store down there. Now, the band does start with a little bit of gold. I can't remember how much. I'm not going to look, but it's around that much. And what you are essentially trying to do is a dungeon crawl, and you have these 3 dice here among the whole party to use round by round. If you waste all these dice in a round, then you have to start the round over. The monster hits you for damage, and you get your dice back. There are times, though, that you'll get some white dice, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, again, I'm not going to be going over every roll, but this is the basis so you can get the gist of it. Now, what you'll be doing is moving through this dungeon. Some places will heal you, like this fountain. Some places will have different actions that you'll have to do in addition to bouncing the dice, because the way that you hit demons and minions more up is throwing the dice, and the rules are bouncing it at least once before it hits the board. That's it. So that was a terrible throw. And because it's my mat here, I'm going to have to like roll it there. So I got 2 hit points here, and this emblem here means I get to use my special ability. Each one of your characters has a special ability, and if it triggers, they will do whatever it is. This does 4+ damage to undead, gets gold, and so forth and so on. And I'm not going to get into all of them, but that's how it goes. But again, you got to bounce at least once before you hit the target, and sometimes specials will trigger. There are more specials on the color dice. Now, as you move through the dungeon, you want to be strategic, because again, there are ways that will be like traps that are going to make it hard for you, but there are ways that are just going to be easier and heal you. So as you go through the room, you will pull out a enemy every room, and at the end of beating the enemy and moving to the next room, you will enter the Emporium, which we'll get into in a second. Now, some enemies have things that you have to do special, but if not, they'll just be blank. But this is the biology of them. 2 hit points is how much they have, how much damage they do, and how much gold they give you. Now, we have to throw it under our legs, and it has to hit the table before it hits the target. So that is wacky. But if we hit anywhere on the board, we're going to kill this monkey. But there are holes. This is a miss, and if you miss off the board, at all, that's when the damage is done to you, and the damage is done when all 3 of the dice are on the board and you need to recall them, and the monster will do damage to all the parties, and you'll take this down. Now, when you get all the way down and you get knocked out, you will faint, but you'll come back and you'll have 1 less power and 3 less hit points. You get all 3 scars, or what they called, you flip over and you're done for. But there are other enemies that will get harder, but like this guy here doesn't have any special, but he's 15 health and 15 points. Now, at the end of every room, like I said, there is the Emporium. You'll pull out 6 of these things here, and each of the people have different things they can hold: shield, and weapon. And there are 3 different things. There is green, blue, and red. Basically, he can hold 2 blues and a red. But there are different things that will do extra damage, and you'll see the cost of it right here. But it will make you have to flick off of a card and like a catapult, which it will do a whole bunch of damage. Or this one right here, you have to flick off your hand to add 3 more damage. So stuff like that. And there are things like you'll get 1 less damage with the shield. And what's a potion do? Potion basically does more damage as well. So you'll go to the Emporium, you get that stuff. You don't have to get anything, but if you have the cash, which you get from beating up monsters, then you can do that. Again, you decide this as a collective, but the item goes to specific characters. Now, if you go through a room and you've only used like the green dice, well, that means you have 2 extra dice left over. This is how you get more white dice. You can go ahead and put them in there. You could also spend 2 gold at the Emporium to get another extra dice. Now, they only have 1 special, but they can hit for just as much damage as the colored dice can. Now, the boss is all the way here, and he's going to get his sheet hit points. Now, this guy doesn't have any special final destination, but he has 33 hit points, and he hits for 8. So he's going to be, like, if we miss and if we go through a round, he's going to almost kill us if we're not all the way healed. But once we beat him, we win the game. That's the only win condition. Now, if everybody gets knocked out and they not only faint but knocked out all the way, all 3 times, then you lose. And that's essentially the game. Now, let me tell you what I think about it. Let's go. I was excited about this one. It gets a, my hair's wacky. It gets a 75 for me. It just gets the Gamevine Play It award. There are times, let's go with the issues. There are times in this game where you will draw an enemy and you just get hosed. Me and my daughter played a game where we got all the way up to the last room, and there was like a couple more enemies before the boss. And I think it was a Dark Knight. That's been so long ago, but we had that monster there, and we only had 1 scar between the 2 of us, and we got wiped by him because of the way that he made us throw. It was that really put a sour taste in my mouth, and I haven't really played this game since then until I went to go review it again. I played it with my partner, and it had really the same effect. Now, we did win the game, but it's not necessarily the easiest game, and especially when you start to compound the hindrances. I say they're hindrances, the special things you got to do to balance it, like under the table or through space and time. It gets crazy, and it's just too much for me. I love dice, I love dungeon crawls, I love fantasy, and the art's okay, you know. This art's nah. For some reason, bouncing it off the table in these very unique and odd ways just rubs me the wrong way, and this is not for me. It's worth a play, definitely worth a play to see the interesting way that this game plays out. And if you don't win because you get wiped by a monster or 2, that's probably going to be your last play. Even if you beat the dungeon, it might be something, well, at least for me, I'm speaking on me, where it's like, nah, yeah, I've done what I wanted to do. I played this. Now, I've never played any of the expansions, so I don't know how this game is broadened by those. I do think I might buy one. Possibly if they get sent to me as a review copy, I definitely would take a look at them. But for now, I'm not running out or clicking on my smartphone on Amazon and putting this in my cart, or at least the expansions. So if you like this game and you want to pick it up and you think this is something that you're gonna like, it will be in the description below. You can go ahead and pick it up right now. But if you haven't already, click like and subscribe. And until I see you next time, I really do appreciate you coming on by. You could have been anywhere, but you're here hanging out with me, and I really do appreciate that. And until the next time that I see you, have a great rest of your day, a great time with all you play. My name is Dave, and you heard it here on the Game Vine. Bye. Vine Nation, we love making content here for you on the channel, and we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so subscribe now and help us out. This video right here, I think you'll like. This video right here, YouTube thinks you'll like. Or you can just sit here and watch me dance the dinosaur for a little bit longer. You can visit us at our social media outlets, and we're going to be improving our Patreon here soon. That's all for today. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.